The Apple foldable teaser is out, and now the teardown of the 12,000 yuan Huawei Pura X Max foldable is here. In terms of dimensions, the previously leaked Apple dummy model is practically identical to the Huawei Pura X Max. Now let's see what kind of tricks Huawei has up its sleeve for the software on this sleek, large foldable. With this new form factor, what advantages does the internal layout offer compared to standard foldables? Done with the teardown. Holy crap, wait, what? This actually has a green screen. The cost just went through the roof, guys. Congrats on stumbling upon this teardown video while your phone is on standby. Everyone says the Pura X Max is impossible to get, but hey, look, I managed to snag one, guys. Honestly, I really didn't expect a phone costing over 10,000 yuan to sell out in seconds. So I spent 12,000 yuan to get this interstellar blue one to tear down for you guys. Oh, this color scheme is perfectly aligned with my taste. It's really great for guys. Seriously, this color deserves its own spotlight. It's got that low-key cool factor, man. Here's how the crease on the front looks. Compared to the previous generation Pura X foldable and its long-lost brother, the Honor Magic V6, it's definitely less noticeable. As for the dimensions, if you put it next to the iPhone dummy we printed earlier, I wouldn't say they're just similar, they're identical. But as Mr. Yu mentioned at the launch event,
our configuration specs should be higher than theirs. We were the first to market. After all, we pioneered and led the foldable category.
For reference, here are the device dimensions. Comparing it to the Huawei MatePad Mini, the Pura X, and a standard large foldable, it looks something like this. With this aspect ratio, compared to the typical near-square large foldable form factor, you'll get significant black bars in both landscape and portrait modes. The Pura X, however, has much smaller black bars when watching videos because its screen aspect ratio is well suited to the mainstream 16:9 format, which maximizes screen real estate. Or, in terms of functionality, Huawei has also made many adaptations for this screen form factor. For example, when you type for the first time after unfolding the device, the split keyboard will customize its size based on your finger length. And for the side-mounted fingerprint sensor, to make reading novels more convenient, they've added a page-turning feature. Swipe down for the next page, swipe up for the previous page, and you can even long press it to flip through pages quickly. The temp mode on this phone is also really well thought out. See, when you fold it normally, it splits the main screen into a display area and a trackpad, while the outer screen stays off. But if you flip it over, it automatically switches playback to the outer screen. And the foldable screen effectively turns into a phone stand. And that's not all. If you charge the phone while it's in temp mode, it automatically switches to a desktop clock. In addition to being a clock, it can transform into a virtual cartoon pet that you can easily interact with using air gestures. Also, the spatial floating lyrics effect in this mode is incredibly sci-fi. I really love this feature. I have to say, when the system is your own, you can really play around with it however you want. I wonder what tricks Apple will have up its sleeve for the software on its large foldable coming later this year. Will it use iPadOS or a heavily modified version of iOS? Since you can already download and use iPad apps directly on macOS, I feel that iPad apps will definitely be fully compatible with this Apple foldable. In that case, the ecosystem advantage would be huge. One area where iOS and HarmonyOS are very similar is that apps are universal across tablets, phones, and computers. Alright, that's it for the design and features. Well, what's really going on with the components inside this phone? Does it justify that $10,000 price tag? Let's dive into this detailed teardown. We'll heat it up and remove the back cover. The adhesive on this phone's back cover is really solid. Let's take a look at the back cover first. It's made entirely of glass. The camera cutout area uses a hot bending process, which is quite costly, but it gives the back cover a very seamless, integrated look. Looking at the inner ring, you can see that to keep the weight down, the decorative camera ring is actually made of plastic with a chrome finish. It has a metallic sheen from the outside, but the material itself helps manage the device's weight. 跟其他手机不太一样啊，这个后盖上有这么一大圈，就是手机的 NFC 线圈了。它是直接集成在了后盖上啊，这个范围这么大，刷卡应该是挺方便的。把镜头保护一下，现在咱们接着拆屏幕。这块屏幕背面的胶水呢是非常牢靠的，需要用酒精配合拆机专用的超薄金属片，一点一点的给它刮掉边缘的封胶。OK 啊，也是费了9牛1虎之力，可算是下了一半了啊。来，咱们接着拆左边。Why on earth did the screen suddenly go completely black? And now it just keeps on flickering like crazy. What in the world is actually going on here? Oh, damn it all to hell. It is officially over for us now, guys. I have completely and utterly wrecked the display. Haha, that is 12,000 yuan just flushed right down the drain. Alright, the screen is off, guys. I think I figured out what happened. Look, the hinge on this phone is much wider than on standard foldables, which means the adhesive strip is also much wider. So when you're taking the screen off, you need more time to soften the glue. Otherwise, you'll end up applying too much pressure, which will damage the screen. It's because of this design that the right side came off fine, but I ran into trouble on the left. So make sure you're careful if you try this yourself. I've taken the hit for you guys. That is truly incredibly strange. How on earth is it suddenly starting to work again? Alright, this is the internal structural design of the Pura X Max. On a scale of 1 to 9, what score would you give it? After removing the screws, let's first take off this 50-watt wireless charging coil. I measured it, and it's only 0.44 millimeters thick, which is quite thin. Now, by making the wireless charger thinner, it allows for the we are freeing up more space around the battery pack. Now, let's go ahead and remove the motherboard cover. It feels like it is stuck in place. Oh, looking closely, there is a hidden screw next to the main camera, tucked away under the laser autofocus module. If we had tried to pry it off with force, it would have snapped. It is a good thing that we are experienced with these teardowns. I have to say, the level of internal customization in Huawei phones is truly impressive. It is in a league of its own among domestic brands. Just look at how many components are integrated onto this tiny motherboard. The laser autofocus module, flash, ambient light sensor, rear microphone, and this second generation infrared camera. With so much packed onto such a small cover plate, you could say it's small, but fully equipped. Next, let's remove the imaging system. The connector for the main camera should be on the back of the motherboard, so we need to remove the motherboard first. Looking at the shape of the motherboard, it's very similar to the one in the trifold. Both have this battle axe shape. Well, you need to disconnect all these ribbon cables on the side first. If you try to remove the motherboard without doing so, these cables will snap. You can see that the Pura X Max has these metal covers on almost every ribbon cable connector, which significantly improves the stability of the connections. This camera system is top tier for a foldable phone. If you don't have that much of a budget but still want to experience a cool foldable, the previous generation Pura X is actually a great choice. It's more compact than this generation. It launched at 7,499, but now you can find it used on Zhuan for just 4,100. That's a saving of over 3,000. Plus, every phone from Zhuan undergoes multiple rounds of official quality inspections, so the quality is guaranteed. There's no need to mention the second-gen infrared we just talked about. The main camera features a 1.36-inch RYYB sensor and supports a 10-stop variable aperture. These are the blades right here. Since Huawei has tightened its patent restrictions, many other brands can no longer implement variable apertures. Next up is a 12.5-megapixel RYYB ultra-wide-angle camera. The periscope telephoto lens features a 1W 2.51-inch RYYB sensor supporting 3.5x optical zoom and 7x optical quality zoom. The optical quality zoom is achieved through ISZ technology. I tested the macro performance and it's excellent, almost on par with the X9 Ultra. It truly lives up to its price tag of over 10,000 yuan. It's incredibly strong in every aspect. Looking at the periscope lens from the side, it appears to use an inverted periscope design similar to Oppo's, and it also supports optical image stabilization. As you can see, the front-facing camera features an ultra-thin custom design to keep the device's thickness in check. Alright, let's take a look at the motherboard. Surprisingly, despite maintaining high-end imaging capabilities, this foldable phone actually uses a single-layer motherboard design. This is thanks to its wide horizontal footprint, which allows all the components to be spread out. Prying off the motherboard shield, the black component on top is the RAM, while the large green block underneath is the actual Kirin 9030 Pro chip. The metal block on the side features a 4-pillar heatsink design, which conducts heat from the processor to this shielding cover. As for which Snapdragon model this processor's performance is comparable to, the experts in the comments will let you know. But raw performance is secondary. Paired with native Harmony OS, the smoothness is beyond reproach. Moving on, what's quite surprising is that the bottom speaker is actually quite large. I checked the supplier, and it's from AAC Technologies. However, since it's a custom-shaped speaker, it's difficult for me to measure its dimensions. The other speaker is in the top right, forming a diagonal dual speaker setup with the bottom left. Let's compare sound quality with the Honor Magic V6. Zoom. I am not entirely certain if you are fully satisfied with the current sound quality, and I am not sure if it is just my own imagination, but I really feel like the sound quality is significantly better when it is set to the tent mode. Okay, let's remove the charging port and the SIM tray. The charging port still features the classic single-tongue design. It lacks a metal protective ring to keep the device's overall thickness down. I really didn't expect the SIM tray board next to it though. It actually uses a vertical slot design. Huawei's current flat-screen phones have already switched to horizontal slots to free up more space for the battery. The foldable phone Apple is expected to launch later this year likely won't have a SIM slot at all. It will probably move to an eSIM-only design. I imagine some of you might be asking, why doesn't Huawei just follow Apple's lead and adopt the eSIM technology? Actually, the Huawei Pura X Max does have eSIM, and Huawei doesn't even consider it a selling point, which is why they didn't mention it at the launch event. Next, we removed the motor and measured it. It's a 0617 spec motor, the same one used in Huawei's trifold phone. I think the haptic feedback is generally okay. Moving on to the right side of the device, you can see that because of the camera module on the left, it only uses a small battery, while the main power supply comes from the large battery on the right. I've checked and the capacity reaches 3,700 mAh. The manufacturer is Shenzhen Xinguangda Intelligent Technology Kabel Ltd, adding the small battery on the left, which has a capacity of 1,600 mAh. The total capacity comes to 5,300 mAh. You can see a microphone on the small board below, combined with the microphones on the motherboard cover and the motherboard itself. It's a 3-microphone setup. Okay, that's roughly the internal structure of this phone. What price point for Apple's foldable phone coming later this year would you find acceptable? Would you think it can outsell the smash hit Pura X Max? Let me know in the comments.